What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Today I worked on the car a little bit more. I've gotten to the point where I've been doing some research on the engine swap, and I found some really good prices on motors online with some Camaros that are junkyard, that are smashed and all that stuff, where you can just have the motor. Now, I was also recommended, I posted it on my Facebook yesterday, if anybody had any sites that they can let me know, or if anybody had any shops that they can let me know, that they can recommend, and that way I can go over there and see what I can do about getting Prime with the motor replaced. So as I did that and I'm collecting the information, I get a message. As I'm doing that, I get a message from modified 1LT Camaro, modified_1LT Camaro on Instagram, and this guy has a very similar build. I mean, has the reverse hood, has the hood insert, has the same exact supercharger. I mean, even the engine cover is designed very similar to Prime's. So, I mean, this guy is a retired mechanic. He literally knows the car inside out. He's done a lot of work on his car, and he happened to come across, I had a situation, and I really appreciate that he took the time to reach out and see exactly what's going on. So he's been helping me out, and he had a video that he posted on his Instagram. I'll make sure I tag his Instagram in the description down below. He posted a link on there, or a video on there, where as soon as he started his car, so he took his to the track and he started his car, and there was nothing but smoke coming out of the tailpipes. So what he found out was, under the intake manifold where the throttle body is, he noticed there was oil there. So that gave him signals when he did the diagnostic on the car, where he could go ahead and start removing certain parts that needed to be removed, and not just go off of what you think that might be the problem. So diagnosing the car is obviously the best way to go before you try to see what the next issue is, or to even try to swap the engine. So what he told me to do was, I'll show you guys. So what he told me to do was, he said, pop off your intake, check your throttle body, and see if there's any oil on the front. Well, I cleaned my throttle body this time around, but there was a little bit of oil right there on the lip, and in the back it was filthy. So like back here it was all like dirty and stuff like that, and when I took off the gasket, this little gasket here, there was a little bit of oil on the actual gasket, like around the rim of the gasket. So he said, okay, there's obviously some oil that's in the intake manifold. Now, in my case, what I have to do is, I also don't just take off the throttle body. This also connects to the throttle body also, and this is for my nitrous. So there was a little bit of oil around the ring right here as well. So anytime, I said, I'm checking it, do I just put it back on and then move on to the next part? He said, no, just keep that off. Put your hand in there, or put a flashlight in there, see if there's some oil inside the intake manifold. And I did notice, there's a little bit of oil in there. So the next thing to do is, I have to rent the compression tool, and then I'm gonna have to check the compression. And he told me there's a fuse up front, actually two of them up front in that box over there, and I believe it was number 9 and 10. There are two little yellow fuses up front, and then there's a fuse that I got to remove in my sound system in the trunk, which is going to be over here on this side, and then it turns off the fuel pump. So what I have to do is, I got to take this off, this whole thing, and then take this bottom half off, and then remove this side piece, this panel, get to the carpet, remove that fuse for the fuel pump, so that way when I do the compression test, I'll be able to check each cylinder to see if a cylinder is damaged or not. So once I find out what's going on with the cylinder situation, with the compression test, that's going to tell us a lot. For sure, something that I did notice was right over here in the inside, right there, which, let me see if I can zoom it in, right there, right where my hand is, right inside there. That's where there was a leak also, and that's right in front of the valve cover screw. So looks like the valve cover is leaking also. And we're gonna have to change the gaskets for the valve cover as well. So in order to do that, I'm gonna have to take off the manifold, which is just gonna be these bolts up top, that bolt back there, all the way right there, and then I'll have to disconnect this line, take this off. I don't even know if I have to take this thing off. Maybe I have to just pull this line off for my boost gauge, and then just flip it over. There's one more line over here that I would have to remove, which is this hose right there. I have to remove that, and then I can flip it over so that way I can see what's going on under there, and that'll give me access to, I believe, 15 bolts that are around the valve cover gasket, which is on that side. So, you know, but in order to do that, you want to make sure you disconnect these also, and then take the coil packs off, and then run your compression test, and then go from there. That's going to tell us major portion of what's going on with the motor. Now, another thing that I found out, because tomorrow I'm going to try to rent that tool from AutoZone. Another thing that I found out that I noticed, if anybody can answer this question for me, this is what I found kind of odd, and this is the second time this has happened. Why is there oil all the way back here? Now, this is not oil that's like from the rear differential or anything. It's literally oil right above the fuel tank. So I'm not too sure how the oil is traveling from that side all the way down this way, but obviously it's a major leak and it's just caused it to travel. So if anybody knows why that's engine oil back there, so there's no way it's going to be over here. So it's obviously traveling, making its way, and then it leaked back there. It just recently started doing that. It's not always been there. But I did notice when I started the car the other day, when I test drove it, it was like smoking in this area. So obviously when I noticed the valve cover had fresh oil that was leaking there, it's dripping down there and it was causing it. So that's where I'm at so far, you guys. If anybody has any tips that they can tell me, anything else, that any other input I should look for, any advice I should look for, just, you know, comment down below, let me know, and then we'll go from there. So for now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to wait to do the actual motor swap, and I'm going to try to see if I can just fix this from the house, and hopefully I don't need to change out the entire motor, because I'd rather save that money for the down payment for the ZL1, because the goal for the ZL1 this year is to save up between 15 and 20,000. That's literally the goal. So that way I can put down 15, maybe 20,000, or put down 15 and keep the other 5,000 for backup money. So that way, just in case in the event that, you know, because with my job it can go up and down during the year, and wintertime it slows down. So I'd rather, you know, just keep that money just in case for backup, or keep that money for more parts, you know what I mean? So that way we can throw the wing on it, the body kit, there's wheels, there's stuff that I want to do on the car. So either way, we got to go one step at a time. We got to get the big guy back on the road first. And I really appreciate all your guys' comments on my previous video. There was quite a bit of comments on there, and everybody gave me some really good pointers and advice. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the community coming together. Doesn't matter what's under the hood at this point. We're just trying to help another person out, which is myself. And I really appreciate that, because usually I'm the one giving back the feedback to everybody on what they can do with their car. On this go around, it's actually my turn where I need the help from you guys. So I really appreciate that, man. So if it's your first time on my page, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, turn on that notification bell. Let me know what you guys think, man. And I tell you once again, and I can never stop telling you, I really appreciate all the love and support. Thank you very much, man. In the meantime, between time, A. Dillip, Priminator, out. Peace.
It's all about humanity.